Do you have a question for me? Well, I probably have an answer because I'm pretty opinionated. But if you want to ask me the question, you can leave me a voicemail at 818-949-8536, and I might just answer your question on the show. Again, that is 818-949-8536. I dated guys that I get bored of because they were so safe.
That's what I'm doing.
You're dating safe people?
I'm dating safe people.
It's not okay. You have to stop.
I'm going to Venmo you this therapy session here after when I'm done here.
I'm so glad to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so glad to see you. You're one of those people that I met you and I felt like I've known you forever.
I feel the same way about you guys. Like,
you do?
It's like for real. Like you guys welcomed me in so quickly. You didn't even know who I was. You're like, all right. And like, I'm always looking for family. You know, that's like living on the road. You strive to find people who are like-minded and just people who just like care about the arts. You know, it's like my family wasn't really like that in the beginning.
No,
not really.
They didn't care about the arts?
They cared. My dad was no one really cared about music in my family.
Then how did you end up in music?
I think I just fell in love with just the scene of the festival scene. Like when I was a kid, I loved like hard music, and I would go to this thing called the Vans Warped Tour. It just basically changed my life, seeing all these like really angsty teenagers screaming together about, fuck you, dad, or something like that. So I was like, oh, I'm feel right at home here.
That's for me.
Yeah.
What was your family culture like? Were you like white collar?
We were white collar. Like my dad was a commercial real estate broker in West Hills, like near Calabasas, and he made money, but there was like years where like the commissions didn't come in, and we'd have to like fight for our own, but also we had to pretend we were rich because we lived in that area. So like we were always pretending to be rich, even when we didn't really have that much money. So like we'd have to go with their friends to like Laurie's Prime Rib and just eat the appetizers, or just eat at the bar. I'm like, this isn't healthy. Let's just go to Chili's. Everyone, like we could,
right?
It's like this idea. LA always had this idea of just keeping up with the Joneses. Like everyone had to pretend they were rich or pretend they were super wealthy, so it wasn't embarrassing.
That's such an interesting perspective, because I don't feel that way at all about LA.
Really?
Not at all. I don't know if it's because I just won't be in that circle.
Yeah.
I just won't do it.
Well, that's a Southern in you too.
Maybe I'm very blue collar, grew up very blue collar. Bert's grew up pretty white collar, but when we moved our kids to the Valley, I was like, no, we're not going to that school because I'm not into that.
Right.
Like, we need to just be able to go to Chili's.
Yeah.
And when you go to Lowry's, it's like, woo, that's a big deal, because that's reality to me. That's so interesting. I hear LA has so many different pockets.
Right.
That you could have a vastly different experience depending on where you just simply go to school.
It's so crazy. Like, waking up, I had to wake up at like 6 a.m. I had to wake up at like 5 a.m. because I got a job at Capitol Records when I was a sophomore in high school, and I had to like take 0 periods so I could get out of school by noon. So I'd have to like get to school at 5 and just, I'd just like people watch and I'd see the cars that roll into the parking lot, like BMW M5s, and this was a public school.
Right.
I'm like, oh, so like, Then I was just thinking, like, because I was promoting shows and I'd have to pass out flyers in every high school all around like the public school district. Then I started going to the private schools and seeing what was going on over there.
Right.
And it was like Porsches, or these 16-year-old kids had Porsches. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a bubble.
It is, man.
It's
and like,
not real life.
It isn't. And it's it kind of screwed me up. And I think that's why I ran away from LA when I was 18. Like, I had to find some sort of normalcy because I wasn't that kid. I was always just like, I didn't like going to the clubs. I didn't like going to the fancy stuff. That just was never me. And then I started going to the South, like Missouri, Arkansas. And I don't know. Do you believe in like not old souls, but just like regenerated souls?
I do.
I just feel like I felt more comfortable in Fayetteville, Arkansas than I ever did in Los Angeles.
Why? Do you think it's because of that? Do you think it's because of like past life stuff?
I think it's because of past life stuff. And I also feel like I don't think my parents really taught me about family, you know, because we were always fighting with someone in our family, or we were always just like, it's like, so I had to really like figure it out myself. And my sisters were like 8 years older than me. So I felt like an only child. So it was just like learning life by myself through the internet and this idea of what LA teaches you, or you have to be famous, you have to be successful, you have to have money. Like I always had to think like happiness came with making money. And it just put me in this rat race. I always had to make money to be happy. And now that I have money, I'm still like, I'm happier when I'm just with my friends laughing and smiling, living in a van, you know, like now that we have like a bus and stuff, like I was happier when we were just winging it in the van and just driving and not having a care in the world. It's just so weird how LA taught me that. I don't know.
But why do you think that? Because I have so many questions now. Because what you describe is what I understand to be a blue collar mentality.
Yeah.
In that a blue collar family doesn't really care what you do for a living. They care who you are to them. Are you my cousin? Are you my in-law? It's about relationships. And in a blue collar world, because, you know, people have less important, I guess, symbols of wealth or whatever.
Right.
The wealth to them is that you're there for someone when they need you.
Right.
Or someone's there for you when you need them. It's a different currency, actually. And
it's totally true.
It's totally true. And I'm not necessarily saying one's better than the other, because I look at members of my family who have no retirement fund.
Right.
And I go, well, that's not good either. You know, you got to also take care of yourself.
Totally.
Not that that's a blanket statement for everyone who's blue collar.
Right.
But the culture of like what money means, that money doesn't mean anything to me. This means, you know, our relationship means more. Well, of course, but you also have to take care of yourself. And the same is true for white collar. You know, what do you do for a living is one of the first questions people ask to kind of evaluate who you are. Oh, you're this intellect, or you're this much money. Whereas blue collar people just don't think like that. They think differently. But then white collar people usually have a retirement fund.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
it's so fascinating, because like my dad's side's blue collar, and like I felt like I was like I felt family with them.
So you had it. So
I had
that was my other question: is where did that ethic piece come from?
I think my mom and her side of the family wanted me to hide the blue collarness of my other side of my family, because it was like we were always in a tiff with someone in that side of the family.
And the blue collar side was always in a tiff?
Yeah, but like we had I felt the most family. Like even now, like my mom's side of the family doesn't come to any of my shows. It's always like my second cousins from the Frascos or the Hugheses, who are just like showing up in rural Wisconsin and like so proud of me and stuff.
Yeah.
And the white collar side's like, it's kind of like a jealousy thing or something. It's so weird. I don't know what it is.
How strange.
Yeah, the blue collar stuff, I'm like, that's like kind of like what scares me to have a family. Like I'm always running and stuff. Like I've only had one relationship in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're scared to have family?
I'm scared to have family because I feel like I don't know how to love.
Aw, that breaks my heart.
I don't know. I got to get out of that.
Do you feel like you know how to receive love?
Yeah. I mean, I receive love every day. Oh.
No, that's adoration is
that's
different.
Adoration. Yeah, maybe I can't. I really can't accept a compliment.
Okay. So that's a little broken part.
Yeah, I'm broken a little bit
you
about
have
that.
to
What do I got to do to like kind of get out of that cycle?
Decide that it's not acceptable for you anymore.
Yeah.
I had a great therapist say to me one time, I was in a relationship a business relationship with someone who was exactly like my mom. And I was like, why am I here? I'm smart. I know what's up. I know this woman I'm repeating the exact pattern.
Right.
And she said to me, my therapist said, it's because that's what you think love is. And until you think love is something else, you're just going to keep doing that.
Right.
So you have to decide what love is. And then you can ask the universe for that. But until you decide it, it's just going to keep showing up like this one.
So it's like change starts within. You have to start the change.
Yes, you have to. At least this was before I knew. No, this was right when I'd met Bert. And I knew that my relationship with Bert was different. And I knew that I didn't know how to do it. So I started therapy at the same time because I knew I was in this bad relationship with this writing partner.
Yeah.
And I knew I had met somebody that was different. And I knew I didn't know what I was doing. So, I don't have anybody in my family to draw on.
Right.
Because both my parents are divorced multiple times. They clearly don't know how to be in a relationship. And I keep repeating this pattern of finding my mother in other people.
So once you stop that mind state of like, oh, I'm just going to break up with everyone because all I know is break up.
That's why, yeah.
And then you fell in love with Bert.
Well,
or it took
sort
a minute,
of.
Right?
When I started falling in love with Bert, I was like, this can't be right. Like, there's no way. I'm not marrying a comic.
Yeah.
This is fucking a death sentence for me. Life's over for me. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like constant doubt. But he kept showing up every day. That man showed up. And I was like, well, no one has ever shown me this kind of love ever.
Right.
And no one has ever shown me, has been delighted in me. Right? He was delighted with me.
But like, do you think everyone was delighted with you? You just didn't see it?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
So you always dated these fucked up dudes?
They weren't fucked up. They were limited. So does that make sense?
Yes.
They were nice guys. I never dated a not nice guy.
Yeah.
I dated guys that I get bored of because they were so safe.
That's what I'm doing.
You're dating safe people?
I'm dating safe people.
It's not okay. You have to stop.
Okay.
Because the safe people are never going to match you. Let me tell you something about you. Let me tell you something about you, Andy Frasco.
LeeAnn. Tell me.
I've been watching you since I met you, watching you online, watching you. You are one of the most creative people I have ever seen.
Really?
Bert Kreischer and you are two of the most creative in every way. In the artwork you create for a poster, in the music you create, in the eventization of your moments on stage. Everything is fresh every time I see it.
Thanks.
And even if it's a song I've seen you do before, it's fresh. It's such a high functioning level of creativity that it's impressive.
Thanks.
And I don't think a safe girl, you're going to have to find a very special safe girl.
Yeah.
She may have to be a little bit broken. Because I was a little bit broken.
Yeah.
I was more broken than people probably think because people like in the public per se know me as who I am like for the last 6 years.
Right.
But in the beginning, I very much tried to talk Bert out of dating me. Very much. I was like, you don't want this. I'm too fucking broken.
Yeah.
You don't want any of this
That's what I'm doing
shit.
to every person. I'm doing that to everyone I'm like holding an arm's length. And I'm like, I got to tell myself to get out of my own way because I'm not going to accept love. I'm going to be alone if I keep on pushing everyone away.
Beautiful lyric to a song. You better let somebody love you
I know.
before it's too late.
I know. Cause I'm getting older, you know, it's like, I am young at heart, but like, I'm just like, I look at my schedule and like, I'm just staying on the road. I'm staying on the road and like pushing everyone away. I was talking this with my sister. Like my mom was like afraid to like tell me she's getting sick again.
Oh.
And like, I was just with her. I'm like, are you lying to me? Like she's like, they found something in her stomach and something in this week. And I was like, I knew something was up because I was keep on getting like while I was reading her text, like helping her with like whatever, Apple TV or something. I just kept on seeing all the texts like, I'm glad Andy's with you through this right now. I'm like, Mom, what's going on? I'm seeing all this stuff. You're acting normal. And she just was afraid to hurt me.
Aww.
And like, I love that about her, but it's like, this is why I've been like, it's so hard for me to be vulnerable with the people I love. I can be vulnerable to strangers, no problem. But the minute they get close to me, I kind of push them away because I'm scared of intimacy. So it's like, So my sister had to tell me all this stuff. I'm like, damn, and then I had an epiphany, like, we've never really, this whole family's never really been close because everyone's been afraid to be honest with how they feel. And maybe that's why I'm pushing people away, because I'm afraid to hurt people with my honesty. Because I could be honest. Like, I'm honest to everyone publicly and stuff. And when it comes down to the nitty gritty with family stuff, it's hard for me to be honest. I don't know why.
But that's so great. You know that about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you know it, you can make a different choice.
Yeah. And I just got to do it, right?
You do. And you know what? The anticipation of the doing is always so much worse than the doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because once you do it, you feel
like,
great.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, whoa, I feel so much lighter.
Yeah.
It's just the anticipation. It's like anticipating the bad news of telling somebody.
Uh-huh.
Like, it was always hard for me to break up with someone. Like, it was really hard for me to break up with my only girlfriend, Jill.
It was?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she loved me so much, but we were just gaslighting each other. So it wasn't like kind of real love.
Right.
So it was just like, oh no.
Why do you think she didn't break up with you?
Because I don't know.
If you were just gaslighting each other.
I think she didn't break up with me because she liked the idea of my life, and she didn't actually like the life, of me being away all the time. Yeah. So, but also, like, I didn't know how to relationship. So I was like asking my friends, like, do I have to call her every day? Like, all my friends, like, yes, you fucking idiot. You have to call her every day. This is what a relationship is about. So I was like learning. I'm like, people learn about relationships when they're in high school. I'm learning about this when I'm 35 years old.
Well, here's the gift of that, right?
Yeah.
The gift of that is you should know yourself a lot better than you did in high school.
Yeah.
So a lot of what people I don't think do enough of is to ask questions, right? What works for you? Do you need me to call you every day? Are you going to be upset if I forget a day? Because it won't be because I'm like not missing you. It'll be because I'm busy or I just got off the beaten track.
See, that's what I got to
do. And you just have to ask, because fortunately or unfortunately for Bert, I have no problem going, hey, dude, I need you to call me every day or whatever.
Yeah.
But not everybody functions that way.
You need that, right?
No, I don't need him to call me every day.
Yeah.
But I need him to call me regularly. That's what I say. Like, he can't go off for a week and not hear from him for a week.
Yeah.
But the way he functions is I may have one day where he calls me 4 times and then the next day he doesn't call me at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like
that too.
I'm like, but I understand what the road is like. So I don't, and if I need him, I'll call him and go, hey, dude, I'm feeling disconnected.
Right.
Like, I need to feel connected. And he'll go, oh, okay. And then we'll have a 10-minute phone call and I've gotten what I need. But I think a lot of people get in the cycle of feeling like you should know what I need.
Yes.
But that's not fair.
That's not fair at all. So I do that all the time.
That's not fair. Nobody reads minds.
Me and my band do that all the time with each other. Like, I get so pissed off at them because I'm married. I think my band is the longest relationship I've ever had. We've been together for 15 years now. And now that we're getting more successful, everyone has wives and stuff, I get more angsty that like we're not communicating. So now I'm like, well, you shouldn't, after 15 years, you should know how I feel. And then I realize, yeah, I'm being selfish here. This is not healthy. So now I'm like trying to communicate with my drummer and my guitar players more, because like we see each other more than their wives see them.
Yeah.
So like we're all in a relationship together, but we just don't fuck. It's like we don't we don't release any stress. So we just hold this angst until we get on stage to hopefully release it. So it's like, you're right. I got to communicate better.
Well, it's an immature part of a brain that thinks someone can read your mind.
Right.
That actually developmentally, when a kid turns about 4 years old, they realize you can't read their mind. But before they're 4, they think you can.
Yeah.
Like, it's a developmental piece. And I think whatever happens when you're that age repeats itself in high school. So if you start bad habits in a relationship in high school like that, they just kind of solidify and continue. The gift you have is, it doesn't sound like you had that. So anything that you had kind of started in high school, you can correct now. You're 30-something, a lot easier.
Yeah.
15 years in a band. There's no way they could know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
There's no way.
No. And I hold these temper
That's a good
tantrums.
practice for you.
With the band.
Practice with the band, because they're not going anywhere.
I know. Now that we're getting successful, they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. And then you take that and you go, woman, Let me pray, because you practiced it.
I think, this is like a big therapy. I fucking love you, man. It's like a big, I needed this because like I realized when I couldn't be sad when I was a kid because every time I was sad, my parents were like, what are you sad about? We got everything we need. Oh. So I kept my sadness inside.
They were angst deniers.
Angst deniers. And I was talking to my sister about this too. Like we weren't allowed to be sad. So that's why I've always had this happy mentality my whole life, even when it's sometimes life is killing me inside that I'm living on the road, just sleeping, getting pink eye in a shitty motel, like fuck.
Bed bugs. Well, what do you do with those feelings?
I write them.
Okay.
And I write them in a notebook. Like even like when I was scared of flying, I would write these like just in case I died letters.
Would you really?
Yeah. And everything I was feeling about my sadness. And I realized, and after that, the turbulence would go away and I'd feel better. I'm like, oh shit. I just let all my feelings out. Or nowadays I'm writing them in songs. Like all my songs are about all the angst I have. Like I like to write happy music, but my lyrics are pretty heavy. So it's like I'm just trying to figure out ways because I don't want to hold anything in anymore. I'm too old. Like, what's the point of holding darkness in you? Because that's what creates cancer, I think.
Totally. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
And you don't even have to quantify your sadness.
Yeah.
Just identifying it and being in it. Again, the anticipation or the like trying to control something like that is so much more energy than just feeling it. The other day I woke up and I turned to Bert and I go, I just need to cry. Nothing's wrong. I just need to cry. And he was like, it's okay. So I just cried and cried and cried. And he just kind of sat there and let me cry. And I was like, okay, let's move on with our day. Yeah. I have no idea. Maybe it was stress. Yeah. Maybe I was exhausted. Maybe my hormones were fucked up. Yeah. I have no idea. I know from my childhood, I have a lot of sadness in my body. But I've always tried to just go, do I really need to know what it's about? It's there.
Yeah.
Just let it out. And then it can move on and clear some space. What are you looking for in a woman, do you think? I'm concerned because I'm concerned in a good way because I think you are the biggest catch. I think you're so awesome that I think any girl would be so lucky.
You know who I'm looking for? Victoria.
You're looking for Victoria?
I have the biggest
She's pretty great.
She's pretty great. She'll chew me up though.
I don't know. Victoria has a sneaky soft spot.
Yeah.
I don't think she wants anybody to see it. Victoria, if you're watching.
I see it. I see it in her. Because I talk to her a lot. Like, I'll I'll watch her with big old NHL players. I'm like, I could be funnier than that. I'm like,
she's a really cool chick.
But I need someone who works a lot. Like the idea of Victoria.
Yeah.
Not probably me and Victoria and I probably aren't gonna work out.
Maybe Victoria. maybe.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
I need someone who can work and who understands that I am obsessed with working. It's not that I'm abandoning you. Mm-hmm. I just love filling my life with stuff every day. So I feel fulfilled when I go to bed because I don't want to wake up when I'm 76, 80, whenever, and realize I didn't take advantage of this awesome, unique experience called life.
Totally.
And I just always was like that. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, I hook up. I have one night stands.
No. I believe me. I figured that one out. But there's that saying, the oak and the elm grow not in each other's shadow, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking for an oak to your elm.
Yeah.
You're just looking for someone who has their own life, who has their own career,
right,
who could maybe do it while traveling. Yeah. So they could travel with you some,
yeah, totally,
and then not some. And
I just don't want to be judged for working a lot.
Well, that is the key, isn't it? You have to find someone who's a real partner in your path, right?
Yeah.
So someone who gets what you're trying to do.
Right.
And supports it.
Yeah. How long did it take for you to get what Bert was trying to do?
I understood it right away.
Right away.
Well, I was a writer.
Yeah, you're doing the same thing.
And I was he had like a big bump in his career before I met him, and he was in a big lull when I met him. He was just trying to rebuild some stuff. And so at the time I met him, I was actually doing better than he was as a writer. So I kind of got it. And then when we got pregnant, I was like, I can't halfway mom. And so we're going to just hitch up to your wagon entirely, and I'll hitch back up to mine later.
Is he a jealous guy?
Is he jealous?
Like if you're getting more successful than him?
That's a funny question. I don't know. I never have been.
Yeah.
He was really proud of me when we were first dating, like really impressed and really proud, because I had like a deal at Showtime to write something. And then Sony Pictures had reached out to me to develop a novel into a screenplay. So I had like stuff coming my way. Right. I already had a film that got made, and he was really impressed. But I don't know.
When he was in that lull.
What's that? When he was in a lull? No. He was really impressed with me. That's when we were first dating.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what would have happened if I would have at some point gotten more successful. But that was never in my cards for me. Yeah. Because as soon as I got pregnant, I was like, that's my path.
Really? You felt it right away after you got pregnant?
Well, I got pregnant on the pill. So to me, that's how God talks to you.
You got pregnant on the pill?
I got pregnant on the pill.
That's actually dope.
It is kind of dope.
Because like
it took all doubt away from me.
It took all doubt that this was an accident.
100%.
And I believe that. I believe in a lot of things to do in life. Like, or I don't know. I'm not really a religious guy, but I do believe in like a higher being or something kind of paving the way for your path. Mm-hmm. And maybe, and it's like, maybe I was just like immature. Like if I would have had a kid when I was like, that was my fears. I think that, okay, let's get down.
Let's do it. Come on.
I think because I was afraid to have a kid when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I'd have this baby phobia because I was afraid, because I was scared I was going to abandon the kid because I was always working and I didn't want, and I saw these kids whose parents were like, I kind of resented my dad a little bit for always working. But nowadays, I realize like, fuck, I'm him, I'm working I'm doing the same thing, same pattern. I was like, damn, because I was like resenting him. Like, why aren't you ever at my games? Or why aren't you ever at this or whatever? And then I realized it's expensive to live in LA and he's trying his hardest. And so it's like, and I think nowadays I'm like older. I'm like, I was like looking at my niece, and I surprised my niece yesterday. I drove to San Diego, surprised them, and I realized, damn, they don't know who I am. And I'm like, I realized I have to figure out this thing that I'm running from, because I think I'm a catch too. Like
you totally are.
It's like I just got to be confident that I am a catch, because I always go with something that's safe, and I'm fucking bored with it.
Exactly. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I go for the safe, the good looking.
Yeah.
And 3 or 4 months later, I'm like, do. So yeah.
That was Jill. It was just, she was safe and I got bored.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this then. If you believe in past life stuff, I believe in that too. It's not maybe the most thing I believe in, but I do believe you're here to learn.
Right.
Right? And if you don't learn, you're going to do it again.
Yes.
And again. And again until you learn it.
Right.
But I believe we as beings have the ability to complete, right? Or learn something and master it. Maybe not complete, but master it.
So what does it take? What does it take to get out of the pattern? Like, do you have to get heartbroken? Do you have to finally learn? Like, what's it take to finally learn something? How do you get out of the cycle?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what it is for me. I got sick of myself.
Yeah, same.
I was like, you clearly don't know the answer.
Yeah.
If you did, you would have answered the question.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
So this guy who shows up, not looking like anybody you've ever dated, not acting like anybody you've ever dated, right, but shows up every day, says yes every day, reinvests every day. Every time I go, no, you don't get it. You don't want this business. It's too complicated. Goes, actually, I do. Every day, this unrecognizable piece where you have very little negative. Where's your no and why are you doing that? What if it bucks you off? Hey, ride it till it does.
Right.
But you have never ridden this kind of horse before. All the other, you get on the same horse every time and it ends up in the same place.
I know. Why why do we like habits? Like, why are we a creature of this idea?
Survival is instinct.
It's instinct.
It's 100% instinct. It is completely counterintuitive to go into a completely foreign land.
Yeah.
Right? Bert's not totally foreign, by the way. My mom is super narcissistic. Yeah. He's got some tendencies, let's just say.
That's the same thing. I keep falling in love with like my mom.
Well, yeah. It's because you're trying to fix whatever's broken with your mom.
Right.
Same thing with Bert. And Bert is both my parents wrapped up in one big burrito. And every once in a while I go, yep, that's my mama's beans. That's my dad's rice. And I got to figure out how to heal myself. Because I can't correct it with those relationships.
Mm-hmm. Is it the idea that the only type of love we know is from the first love we experienced, even if it was a kind of a weird love, but it's still love because they still kept you in the house. They still put some clothes on you, you know?
It's what you know as normalcy. We talked about this with our kids because Bert gets really frustrated because our kids don't want to be on his Instagram. And he goes, Mark, all Bert's kids are on his Instagram. And I go, my dude.
Yeah.
His kids were born into a famous family. Yeah. Your kids were born into a regular family.
Right.
You weren't even trying to get this famous. You were just trying to work as a comic. And we would have all been happy just to make a good living.
Right.
And it became something different when they were in fucking middle school.
So they're already developed.
100%. And all of this,
I didn't even realize
I'm embarrassed of my dad happens when your dad's a banker. Right. Much less when your dad has his shirt off in front of thousands of people and puts you on his Instagram account constantly and strangers are going, oh, you're LeeAnn Kreischer. It flipped him out. So you can't one-to-one Mark Wahlberg's kids.
Yeah.
That was normalized for them. What was normalized for our kids was dad's gone 4 days a week.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
And he's home for 2. But when he's home, he's totally plugged in.
Yeah.
And he's gone for 5. So they've never had a problem with his travel ever because he started traveling when Georgia was 3 days old. So the same would apply to you. It's what you do and how you connect when you're here and how present you are when you're gone.
Right.
Right? So Bert would always call them. He knew everything that was going on in their life. He just wasn't physically home.
Yeah.
And then when he got home, dropped off at school, picked up after school, drove him to softball practice, helped him with Girl Scout cookie sales for those 2 days a week.
Right.
Right? And then he'd off again. And I always made him stay home for 1 week a month.
Do they resent him not being there?
I don't think they resent him not being there. They resent him for the Instagram shit.
Yeah.
That they don't
and like the period stories and stuff.
I think that confuses them. It's more the social media piece they really don't like.
They don't mess with that.
They don't like it. It's just a little too, you kind of have to seek out a stand-up special.
Yeah.
Instagram is so part of everyone's everyday life.
Right.
It's almost like, breathing, especially their generation.
And he's so good at it, at just like making everyone feel like they're part of your family.
100%. Everyone thinks they know all of
they're
this.
part of your family.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with it. Right? Well, everybody. Well, you are, sort of.
I appreciate it.
But I don't meet a stranger. I've always been that way.
Yeah.
Fame or not, I'm the same exact person I was before and after any of this happened for Bert.
Right.
I'm not any different. But so I'm saying that in that whatever you decide your life to be, whatever love you came from, you have an opportunity to make different choices. You learn from that love and you keep what works. And the rest of it, you go, I don't really need that anymore. And choose something different. Do you ever read those choose your own adventure books?
Yes.
So that's all it is.
Right.
Is you just go, well, I'm not doing that. I mean, I could make, my mom, I was just talking about this weekend. My mom and I have not a great relationship.
Yeah.
But she was really goofy.
Yeah.
She sang goofy songs all the time. She made every holiday that she was involved in super fun and really goofy. And I am definitely that. And we celebrated Easter because Georgia's not going to be here for Easter. She'll be back at college. And I was hopping around the house singing this stupid Easter song. And in the middle of it, I was like, this is totally my mom. I kept that. See what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
That's one of the ways that she loved me that was really positive.
Right.
So I kept that. I didn't keep the you're fat, you're ugly, you're never whatever shit that she would say to me. But I kept that part of it.
Yeah.
because you don't have to keep all of it.
Yeah, and I say it with my mom's like, she's not a monster. She loves the shit out of me.
Of course.
You know, it's like, so like she was like, I remember the good things she would do for me as well. Like, you know, she liked giving, like her love language was like gift giving and stuff and all these cool little things to make me feel like I was loved and stuff. So I've realized that's what I do too. Oh. Like I'm like, I always get my band gifts or take care of them for dinners and stuff, just like to show my way of loving. But I also, I'm gonna Venmo you this therapy session here after when I'm done here. I have to communicate. I have to communicate how I feel about things because I'm so good at communicating how I feel to everyone on Monday motivations, on, you know, all this other stuff that I gotta communicate like that towards the people I truly love.
Yeah.
Too. Because I don't want to live alone. I mean, I look at Leonardo DiCaprio and those guys, they look lonely as shit. Dude. Yeah. They look fun. It looks fun. Yeah. But I could see my path going that way if I don't act right. Like, not even act right, just because I am a good guy. It's more of I gotta rewire some things to know that I'm worthy of love. I don't feel like I'm worthy of love.
Isn't that crazy how we do that to ourselves?
Yeah, like how do we get there?
I don't know. I had this conversation this morning with my trainer. I worked with my trainer and I was like, why do I just keep accepting more and more and more work?
Yeah, same.
As Bert will go like, let's build this, the Eiffel Tower in our backyard, and I'll go done, and then I kill myself trying to do it. And I was like, it's got to be something about my worth. I'll kill myself to prove
that I'm worthy,
or that I can do anything you ask.
Yeah,
no matter if it kills me, I can do it.
Same.
It's something to do with my worth. It's crazy.
Why do we put that in, why do we put ourselves in that position? It's like, then our battery's low, and then we start getting sad. It's like when we're like, we always say yes to everything when we're vibing. Everything's like, hey, let's go. Yeah, I'll go to fucking New Mexico tomorrow. Let's go. You know, like last night, I'm like Saturday, my buddies were in town, Humphreys McGee, this jam band. They played at a venue. I just got on their tour bus and left my car in LA. And went to San Diego with them. And it's like, in my brain, I'm like, oh shit, I'm borrowing my dad's car. I'm leaving it in downtown LA. I had to fly home. I had to fly from San Diego to LA because there was no trains just to get the car, drop it back off at my parents' house, to get an Uber back over here. And I was like, you know, then I'm like depleted last night. I start crying. Aww. Like I'm eating like takeout food, just like thinking about my mom and her shit. And, I'm like, damn, I did this to myself. Yeah. Like, I'm just like saying yes to everyone and just want to give everyone the experience with me because I am important to other people's lives that, you know, it's like everything. It's like a take thing. And I think we forget to leave just a little bit for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like, and then we get like, fuck. Then we don't feel like we're getting a glass full, you know, it's like.
Feel empty.
A little empty because we're givers.
Yes. Other focused.
Yeah.
Other focused is hard.
Yeah. Like, and I don't want to lose that. That makes us us.
Yeah. Totally.
That's why we are who we are, LeeAnn.
Completely.
You know? So it's like, how do you just like kind of like me in the middle a little
inch
bit?
To the middle.
Inch to the middle.
Inch to the middle. Because you're never going to be in the middle.
No.
You got to inch more that way.
And I could see it with like, you know, I saw Birdie's schedule last year was crazy.
Yep.
Shit was crazy. I feel like he's like, saw a couple weeks off.
Yep.
Like, it's like the same. I mean, he's probably the same way. He just always says yes to everything. Or what?
Oh, are you kidding?
I've seen him on some podcast like, Birdie, you do not need to do that podcast.
He says yes to everything. And then the people in this house get to figure out how to make that yes happen sometimes.
Right. Oh, yeah. I see all the ladies in there just like, Bert's at 11:45. He's got 25 minutes to hang out with you before he has to go to
go.
It's go time. It's go time.
Everybody in here is like that. Hair on fire all the time. But he does it. I told him, I was like, you are the magic and we are the manifestors, right? We make it all freaking happen, but you come up with this big magic. But
I'm like that with my team too.
You are.
Yeah, I'm the same. But we need to have a little bit for ourselves.
I think so.
Right?
I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
I'm trying. But, sometimes I'm not very good at it.
Me either.
Sometimes
And you're a mom. So like the other
Mm-hmm.
side of it is like you're doing all this stuff. Then you gotta be a mom.
Yeah.
Then you're like, you got it worse than I do. Like you have 200,000 things you gotta do and give love to your kids.
Yeah.
So how do you do it?
I don't know. It's really hard, actually, sometimes. And sometimes it's not that hard. It's just kind of a lot of balancing. I feel like I'm spinning plates all the time. And sometimes I'm only spinning maybe 4 plates. And sometimes it's like 40. And lately it's been like 40. Lately for like a year.
Yeah.
Now it's been really intense for the last year. But, you just have to put one foot in front of the other and know that it'll calm down at some point and hope that you can do the best you can.
I saw this Insta story Bert put of you guys on a date night and you're just like texting, doing something else. It's like, oh my God, LeeAnn, you're working, dude.
Yeah, I work a lot.
You love it though, right?
Sort of.
Why'd you do it?
Sort of. Because it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And Bert didn't become a stand-up to become a CEO.
Right.
That's
true.
He didn't. And a lot of the things he puts in place, he just can't manage. And he shouldn't have to, really.
Right.
And part of the reason I started working for him is because I have all this history and knowledge, and I have, we've been partners for so long. I kind of understand his brand differently than anybody else. I don't want to say better because that's not maybe accurate.
Do you manage him?
No, I don't manage him. No, he has a manager and obviously an agents and all that stuff. Yeah. But I'm kind of like, a text comes in from the manager and he goes, I don't want to deal with that. But 9 times out of 10, I know how he would deal with that. So I'll just deal with it.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't have to deal with it. And then if I don't know how to deal with it, he can hear it a little better from me. It stresses him out less.
Yeah.
And he can tell me honestly what he thinks so that I can kind of bureaucratically say, this is what we're thinking, because as an artist, he can be reactive and emotional. And
I'm like that too.
He'll be like, fuck them, fire everybody. And I'm like, not accurate, not what we're going to do.
I do that all the time.
But I hear what you're saying. You're frustrated with ABC. But fuck them, fire anybody is not going to fix anything.
No.
So let me figure out what that means and how to solve.
Right.
So we're just kind of different. But I do lately, I feel like his world has taken over my world to the point where I can't focus on my world other than my kids.
Right.
So like this podcast is one of them. I would like to spend more time on crafting what I do here. I've been trying to write a book forever, and I keep setting myself up to do it. And I'm like, I'm going to start in September. And then things just he keeps dropping things like a 5K.
Yeah.
Can we do a 5K in 4 months? And can you just figure that out? And I'm like,
I'm trying to write my book. Bert.
Can I do my own laundry? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like,
it's tough. Like I'm the same way. Like I've always I have the podcast too I'm doing and my band stuff. And I've been taking the podcast on tour. But then I really love taking on the podcast on the road and stuff. And then I realized, oh yeah, I am 17 other people's livelihood for this band thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of puts me in this spot like I can't say no to
band.
Well,
what I've been thinking lately is, when is enough enough?
Yes.
Yeah. When is enough enough? At a certain point you have to say, I'm good for now. It's not a no forever.
Right.
It's just a no for now, right? Yeah. A lot of the times when you get to a certain point as a band or as a comic, you should be able to say, let's do that in 6 months and not have the fear that opportunity is going away.
Right.
Right? Once you're at a certain point, you should be able to be in control of your life in a different way. The building part of it is a little harder. When you get certain opportunities, you should take them. But once you get to a certain place, I think that you should be able to go, I have so much on my plate, I'm going to be ineffective everywhere.
Right.
If I'm not effective in the key places, and we'll take that opportunity.
And like the quality, you start devaluing the quality of yourself. You know, like, cool, you could take everything, but are you going to give it its full potential, or are you going to give it a half-assed thing?
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't know. It's like, but also I'm in the point in my career where I'm finally getting like big money.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fucking say no to it because I've been working so hard.
Totally.
Now you got to realize that you fucking, God damn it, LeeAnn, you nailed it on the goddamn head. I got to like realize this isn't going away.
Exactly.
It's always going to be there.
Exactly. You spend so much time where it could go away. Right? I think that's the hard part for you and for Bert and for people like you and Bert who are these artists who've had to, you're not a typical band, right? You're not like, and he goes in this place.
Yeah.
You're not like that. You are something really unique. And I could say the same for Bert.
Yeah.
Bert's not a typical stand-up. He takes his shirt off. No one has ever done that.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is super unique.
Or like also doing the sports commentating and doing everything.
Everything. And the podcasting is relatively new in the world of Hollywood per se.
Right.
But so I understand the uniqueness of who you guys are and having to really fight to get to a certain level. But because you're so unique, once you get to that level, it's not going away.
You're right.
So once you're at the level where it's not going away, how do you let go of that scarcity piece? The scarcity of it's definitely going away.
Yeah.
Or if it goes away, what do you pivot to? What is your next thing? Because it's cool to watch the Eagles. It's cool to watch the Eagles.
Did you go to that show,
70s
Steely Dan?
And 80s.
Did you go to that Steely? I did too. I loved it.
Amazing. It's cool to watch them. And I wonder what it's like for them as artists because they wrote all those amazing songs 40 years ago.
Right.
How do they feel as an artist to still be touring and singing songs that are 40 years old?
Right.
Does that feel good to them? If it does, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel good to them, they could have made different choices, and become a music teacher, become whatever, a mentor or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that either, with saying, I've lived this life. And now I choose to do something different.
Yeah. Or like, how do you approach a dream when you've reached the dream? Like, how do you keep the dream in your brain alive? Do you fine tune the dream? Do you that's what I'm going through now. Like I've finally seen everything I've been dreaming about since I was 12 years old.
Amazing.
And it's amazing. I'm so excited. But that also scares me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how do I keep wanting the dream? Because I do want the dream and I want to write music and stuff. I just have to feel like I just don't know how to approach it. Like how do I approach, like you said, maybe, you're totally right. Like it's not going away. It's like that idea that you stop talking to the dream and then it's just going to abandon you. It's like anything. It's like the abandonment issues when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, if I don't just keep a smile on my face, they're going to think I'm not happy or not Mr. Happy and they're going to just leave me.
Are your parents still married?
Yeah.
Why did you think they were going to leave? What was there evidence? I don't know.
I felt like they just never liked each other.
Oh.
They just stayed together.
Do they still not like each other?
No, they love each other now.
Interesting. Maybe having kids was really tough.
Yeah. And my mom's parents came with money. Like my grandfather invented like stain coat paint for airplanes and stuff, but then they weren't really a family style because they didn't even come to my bar mitzvah and stuff because they were fighting with my family and stuff. And the only reason why I was doing the bar mitzvahs was for fucking them, like the grandparents. I was like,
what are they fighting about?
Money. The will. They weren't even dead. It wasn't my mom. My mom and stuff. It was my uncle who was fighting over a will over someone. First of all, it's not their money.
Yeah.
It's my grandparents' money.
Yeah.
And then my mom's just trying to be cool and trying to keep the family together. Right. So then she was like, it was a pickle. And then my grandparents took it out on our family and didn't show up to the bar mitzvah.
Why would your grandparents take it out on your family if your mom was just
because they don't like confrontation. My whole family does not like confrontation.
Keep the peace with the uncle.
Yeah, to keep they don't want to have they thought it was going to be a big blowout at the bar mitzvah. And my mom overthinks confrontation, and I think that's why it's hard for me to have confrontation because I see how my mom approaches life and stuff. And my dad's like all easy breezy, like it's gonna be fine. You know, I wish I fucking had that. I got this Jewish anxiety just bubbling in my stomach all the time. Like everything, the world's gonna end if I don't.
Well, you fake that well because you seem like everything's gonna be fine. Let me just jump off this piano into the crowd and have them pass me through the crowd. And life's amazing.
And that's why I realized, like, I need that.
Yeah,
I needed that because if I didn't have that music, that side of me, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah,
because like it's important to release that anxiety. And like I'm not really one like I'll drink and stuff, but I'm not like. I don't suppress my feelings with drugs and alcohol.
Right.
I release everything out of my body from my stage performance and stuff and all the wild stuff. And then I could finally chill out again.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm like that.
So no one in your family's musical?
No.
Well, where did it come from?
I just fell in love. I was listening.
I know you went to the Vans, but how did you actually start playing music?
I listened to Van Morrison. And I was listening to Crazy Love. And I was like, damn, he's only playing 2 chords. And every song is 2 chords. But these songs are so raw and emotional. Like, I remember just like driving in my dad's car and he'd always play Days Like These. When it's not always raining, there'll be days like these. And we would just be out there with the wind blowing. I'm like, I finally felt emotion through music. I'm like, damn, this is like another side of life. Because I was always just a sports guy. And everything in sports was so competitive. Everyone's like, you have to win.
Yeah.
Like, I was always just like angsty, like I have to be competitive. And then I started listening to music later in my life. I'm like, oh, this is the beautiful side of life.
Right.
And I was like, sports makes you competitive, man. Were you into sports?
No, I was no. I went to 6 different schools in 12 years. My parents weren't into getting me to practice.
How'd you approach friendship?
Friendship?
Yeah.
How do I approach it now?
How'd you approach it in those going like always leaving schools? Like
it was hard. I kept going back and forth to my dad's. So when I went to my dad's, I had people I knew that were friends, but I never kept in touch, you know?
Yeah, same.
But certain years, I didn't really have any friends. My cat was my friend. And then 7th and 8th grade, I had a really good friend who taught me how to be a friend. I was only in this one school for 7th and 8th grade. And she, her name's Becky, really, those 2 years were so important because she's one of 4 kids. I watched her fight with siblings. I'm an only child. And her mom and dad are super in love. And still fought in front of their kids, not anything crazy, just would have disagreements. I saw like a fully functioning family with siblings and parents and everybody working together. And then she was a friend in that she was really present and really honest with how she felt and who she was, and what boy she liked and what girl she didn't like and what teacher sucked. And she just wore her entire soul on her sleeve. And I went, okay.
So you could be that type of person too.
So you can be that type of person because my whole life was about protecting myself.
Yeah.
Right? I'm leaving anyway. Why would I make a friend? And as soon as I showed up across the street from her, I lived across the street. She was like, what grade are you in? From across the street. I told her and she was like, me too. We're going to be good friends. And I was like, okay. And we were. So I think I started... Friendship as an adult has been an interesting progression for me. I did not like girls at all until I was probably in my early 30s. Really scared of girls. I think they're definitely have ulterior motives, definitely are sneaky, definitely are lying, definitely don't like girls until I was probably late 20s or so. And I met people like Christine, who's in my office, who is not like that and at all. And I met more girls who were not like that at all. I think part of it was growing up in the South.
Yeah.
And getting out of the South. And I mean, there's a lot of great girls in the South, but I didn't like what I would watch happening in these like girl dynamics. It just it wasn't for me. So once I got found some women who were grown-ups and didn't do that shit, I started kind of relaxing a little bit. But even one of my closest friends, Sandy, the first time I met her, I gave her the old like, who the fuck are you? Like you stay over there till I figure you out.
Yeah.
And then but I seem to figure people out much faster.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I didn't trust men.
Really?
Yeah.
How interesting.
I was always like my sisters. I was like, I related with girls so much that I thought that I was like a closet gay.
What?
Yeah. But I knew it was. I was never into dicks. I was like, I don't know why I think like this, but I just relate so much with girls and just hanging out, like pillow talk and like just like talking about their feelings and stuff. That I didn't trust men. I'm like, oh, these guys are gonna pick on me and stuff. Like I don't.
Is that from sports? You think?
I think from sports.
Yeah.
Or I think from, I think it was also like I had abandonment issues with like I always wanted to be part of like the drama team or like, but they wouldn't let me in because I was an athlete and stuff. So like, and they were just like me and like they would just like talk shit. So I was like, no, at least girls will tell you. Like from my point, like they'll tell you they're telling their feelings. Like guys don't tell their feelings. And I'm like pretty emotional person. So I'm like, just like, we just go and watch some television, eat some popcorn. Like it was my sister would like give me a makeover or something,
so
So like, and that was like, now I have great guy friends. Like I never really trusted guy friends because I was like, they're always just like, it was just like, hey, let's go out there and fuck, like I was just like, it was all right, but it was like, it wasn't giving me any substance. And then I'd always have like, I have all these like great girlfriends in my life right now and great friends. And I was always just keeping everyone arm's distance away because I'm like, I don't trust you. I think you're fake or like, because I have good intuition on fakeness. And I think you do too, right? But we're also keeping everyone away where we can't even let them in.
I watch until.
Yeah.
I'm a big watcher until. And then if it's not going to happen, it just won't happen.
Right.
I'll just be like, well, I'm not hanging out with you. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But if I figure out this is good, I'm all in. Totally. Even if we make mistakes, even if you show me some side of you I didn't see and I don't like, if it's a one-off, maybe two-off, I'm cool. I can be cool with that. But if I see some consistent no, I can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like,
as you were talking about this, here's a perspective when you're looking for somebody for your life partner. Okay.
Give it to me.
You're like,
I love this so much. This is the best. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Me too. Forever. Bert is like you in that Bert's very sensitive. He gets along so well with women. My close friend Sandy, I think, is probably his best friend. And he's great friends with Christine. He's just a girl guy.
Yeah.
He has guy friends, but sometimes the guy friends rattle him, right?
Yeah,
well, they'll say something that really rattles him. And it's very, very rare that something a girl says to him rattles him. He's got two sisters, close to his mom. Bert married a very male energy girl. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I am very dude. I don't get into that riffraff. I don't need to talk about my feelings 100 times. I need to talk about them to understand them, to move on. And sometimes that is problematic, but not often.
Yeah.
Usually it's a good yin yang.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for someone, you may need to look for
like a dude
someone
girl.
That's a dude girl. Like I'm definitely girly.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'll get dressed up and I'll let you take care of me a little bit, but I don't need you to open the door for me. But if you do, I think it's really awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're spot on about that. And I'm like, in my head at first when I was thinking that, like, damn, am I into like some like manly lesbian?
No. Just like I always say to Bert, if Bert dated Sandy, they would implode.
Yeah.
Like they would never make it because they're both so sensitive and emotional in the same way that they'd like constantly one up each other on who had the most whatever, you know? Right. And so the friends he gravitates toward have some of that same thing he has.
Right.
But you have to have the opposite. Well, maybe not the opposite, but something a little different so that you can support each other and learn from each other.
Yeah.
Because if you have same, and if you're too different, then you can't ever.
Yeah, because always like when I date girls who are super emotional, I get intimidated.
Uh-huh.
Like, but if I don't have sex with them and I just be their friends or my best friends.
Yeah.
You know,
I see.
You know, like I don't once I put sex involved with someone that's really emotional, like I'm really emotional, it implodes.
Really?
But like if I am with like a, you know, more of a, you know, masculine woman, like a
masculine energy
woman.
I'm not masculine.
No, you're feminine as hell.
But my brain is.
That's what I mean.
My brain is dude-ish.
And that's like, those are the relationships that last the longest for me.
Isn't that interesting?
Holy shit.
Hey.
LeeAnn, you are just opened me up, dude.
Oh, well,
I'm just
I don't know about that. Sounds like you already know all of this.
I just like, I needed a friend to like give me the realization. Because a lot of people just like,
yes, you
guess me or like stereotype me, would think what I need, or like just kiss my ass. Or like,
no.
You know, it's like, I don't need that.
You're a sweetie pie. That's the thing, is that you're just a little soft little sweetie pie who looks like a lunatic on stage. But really, it's the same as Bert. Yeah. He looks like a lunatic.
Yeah.
He is the softest little sweetie pie.
Yeah.
Ever. He would never mean to hurt anybody's feelings or do anything wrong, and he cares so much.
I know.
You're the same way.
Yeah, that's why I love him so much. And like when Gary Goldman and Bert were talking about me on their pod, it made me cry so much. They really did understand. They understood me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not this crazy fucking person.
No, you're not.
That's like my alter ego. Like it's not
even that.
Yeah.
That's your creativity.
Yeah, it's my creativity. Exactly.
But your creativity isn't all of you.
No.
It may be what people identify you most by, right? All this stuff Bert does on stage is his creativity.
Yeah.
But it's not all of him. It's his creativity.
Right.
And the same, you're the same. I understand exactly who you are. You're just like Bert.
Yeah.
You are.
I know.
So that's why when I first met you, I was like, I know who this guy is. I married this guy. I have the same one of these at home, just a slightly different package, right? A little older, a little tubbier, a little less hair.
Less Jewish.
Slightly less Jewish. Highly German mine, but somehow, same.
Isn't it amazing how it's like you just realize like the people that are in your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys are going to be in my life forever.
I think so, actually.
I believe
think so. I know. I'm thinking, like, how do we get you on Fully Loaded? Bands don't work on the ground. Fully Loaded, they just don't work.
Yeah,
we tried Steel Beans, and it was like,
yeah,
he was amazing, but it just doesn't work with the rhythm. I'm like, how do we got to do another cruise or something? So we have you back on something we're doing.
Well, regardless, and I'm just always going to be here for y'all. We're going to be friends forever.
I agree.
It's not about what we work on together. It's just know that I'm always going to be here for y'all.
Same.
However way. I know. That's why, I feel like sometimes I'm scared to text you.
Why? Me? Why?
Sometimes you intimidate me.
Me?
A little bit. Yeah. And also don't want, Bert to think yo, I'm talking to your wife. Because I really love you as a whole person, LeeAnn. You are I feel like sometimes I just want to ask you advice about yo, this girl that I'm talking to. And
anytime.
Okay.
If you ever worry about it, text me and Bert. He won't answer.
Okay, perfect.
He won't answer you. He doesn't answer anybody's text.
Yeah.
But at least you know that he knows that you're texting me and what it's about. If that makes you uncomfortable, but
no, I'm down. I just want to I don't know. I'm as these years go by and as I'm getting closer with you guys, I'm just considering you guys like family. So I'm I just want to, be buddies. That's all.
I love to be your buddy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I love it.
Let's do it. This seems like a natural place to stop our podcast.
I love it.
Right?
I love it.
I had so much fun.
Thank you, LeeAnn. Anytime, every time I'm in LA or whatever, I'm going to hit you up when I see the tour dates and see
Wait, where do you live?
I live in LA a little bit, but I mostly live in Denver.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I have a house in Denver. And then I started this Airbnb business where I'm buying properties in different parts of the country. So if I'm doing a tour in the East Coast, I'll have a Brooklyn pad, Denver. So I could just kind of go to.
That's really smart.
Floating.
That was really smart.
I just want how, and also get paid, the Airbnb pays the mortgages. So I'm kind of I don't have really any expenses. Mm-hmm. So I'm just, I could still be Andy Frasco and not feel like I'm tied down.
That's amazing.
So I love it.
You're a really smart guy.
Thank you.
Really smart. Thank you so much for doing my podcast.
Always.
Thank
Anytime.
You.
Thank you. You're
yes. And we're going to go see you Friday.
Yeah?
I think so.
Please.
I want to.
Who
Bert
do I
and
have to
want
convince?
to. Georgia. She'll be here.
Okay, cool.
She'll be here probably when we're done.
I'll try to convince her. I have a question. What's the deal with college?
What do you mean? What do you
having
mean?
a daughter in college?
Yeah.
Like, is it intimidating? Like
it's weird.
It's your first time having someone like an empty nest thing.
We're almost there. When Isla goes away in the fall, we'll be empty nest. It's really weird. Here's what's weird. There's a lot that's weird about it. Not necessarily bad weird, just transitional weird, right? So you have these kids, you create this unit of 4, and you're a unit of 4 until they get to high school. And then they start kind of branching out, which is what they're supposed to do. But as the parents, we start missing the 4 of us, right? Because the 4 of us were such this amazing unit for so long. And they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. We are happy. George is in college and happy in college and achieving and finding her friends and getting too many tattoos and doing all the shit you're supposed to do.
She's getting a bunch of tattoos.
Oh my God.
She's all tatted up.
She got several. Now I have 1. Bert has 0, and it's been a little bit for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But
she a rocker?
No, Isla just taught. Do you know that Isla just taught herself how to play electric guitar?
No way. By herself?
Yeah.
Like on YouTube?
Yeah. This guy from Five Finger Death Punch gave her a guitar because she's a big fan. And so she decided to learn one of their songs, and she taught herself, and I am not joking, like half an hour. And she taught herself with the guitar out of tune, and we could hear her through the ceiling. And Bert went up there and tuned her guitar, and she was like, oh, dun, 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 and just played the whole song. And we were like, what is happening? Both girls are musical, but different. Georgie can play the piano, and Isla's like, piano schmano. She had piano lessons, but never really got into it. But she just,
I was just a rocker, dude. I just feel the vibe.
Just an art.
Yeah.
Real art. George is a writer brain.
Yeah.
Really good writer. Isla's like art brain. Like, I don't even know how many different types of art her brain works in.
Did Georgia like when you guys took her on the Fully Loaded tour?
Yes. Georgia really liked it. Isla liked it less. Isla felt like Georgia brought a friend. We invited Isla to bring a friend, but she didn't. And I think she felt like a third wheel. So I think that really affected her perspective on the whole experience. So she doesn't want to go again this year, which really kind of breaks her heart.
Oh, no.
And Georgia wants to work for somebody here in LA. She was like, if I could do both, I would. But she kind of wants to work for the person in LA more than she wants to work for us, because she's already done it for 2 years. Georgia did it for 2 years. But having kids in college, what's really interesting is that you have to really become such a different parent, in that you have to keep your mouth shut and not mentor in the way that you mentor when they're younger.
Right.
You have to let them and watch them fail. And
how hard is that to do?
It's pretty hard. And sometimes a lot of the times I know what's going on with my kids, and they don't. And I know exactly what it is.
And you're like,
and
shut up,
LeeAnn. I can't help them. You have to let them figure it out. And the patience and the maturity it takes to sit with those feelings. Because I have to hold my feelings about what I'm seeing. I have to just hold them and tolerate it. And it fucking sucks.
That sucks.
But you have to that's what you have to do. Because if you try to get in there, roll your sleeves up and really get in there, like nothing bad's going on. Nobody's like off in a ditch.
Yeah.
But you go, you're choosing this person as a roommate. It's probably not going to be a great roommate because of these 5 qualities I see right now.
Yeah.
If I say that, you're going to lean harder into the roommate.
No, Mom, she's my roommate now.
And you're never going to figure it out. And you're going to suffer through 3 years with this person. But if you keep my mouth shut, you'll figure it out on your own. And it's going to be a pain in the ass because you're going to have to find a different place to live. Yeah. But at least you will have figured it out on your own.
Yeah. Both
of our kids are doing that. And George has been doing that for a while. They start doing that in high school.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of, it's more like young kids are like playing checkers and older kids is totally chess. Where you just have to, everything's strategy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Georgia came home for spring break, which I was shocked. I was like, come home for spring break. She was like, okay. And I was like, what? Okay. As soon as I saw her at the airport, I was sobbing. Like, could not control myself sobbing. And I'm not that mom. Like, I'm not that mom.
You think it's because you are doing this approach where you're just letting her live her life? So like
part of it.
Like you want to like help her with everything, but you realize she has to do this. So when you finally see her, like, I love you so much.
Yes. It's like the mama bird that lets the baby bird fly. Yeah. I'm sure when that mama bird sees the baby bird in the sky, you're so proud. I'm so proud of Georgia. And I miss her so much because I love her so much, but I would not want her here.
Right.
I wouldn't want her here.
Yeah, especially, I think that college is important. I didn't have that college experience.
No.
I went to a commuter school, San Francisco State, and I went for a semester, and I got sad, and I had to go. Because I knew I was going to quit. I was just doing. My sisters went to like Indiana and Michigan. They're all doctors. I was just doing this to do it. So I was like, I'm just going to go to the cheapest college, so I don't get the guilt trip of my parents for spending money, like a $30,000 a year at school.
Right.
And with that, then I realized like, I'm just doing things to make other people happy,
Right.
Like, and so I think that's a good thing. She's in college. She's not in LA. She's out there living her vibe.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I think the hard part is we genuinely like her.
Yeah.
Like we genuinely like spending time with her.
Yeah.
It's not like when we see her go camping, I was like, I want to go camping.
Too?
What are you doing? I would like to do. Why am I not invited? That's how I feel. But I go, well, you should not be invited.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm missing out on so many amazing, fun times that she's having in her life. And I've been in part of all the fun times in her life until this point.
Does it happen quick? Just kids growing up? Like,
there's this moment. It's almost like when you're in it, time is really slow.
Right.
But when you're out of it, it was 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. So I remember having moments where I go, Bert could not get home fast enough. I need a second set of hands. Like I'm drowning here, especially in the beginning when the kids were really little. And, like 1 and 3, and Bert's gone 5 days a week and we don't have a nanny.
Right.
It was a lot. But now I look back and go, that was amazing.
Yeah.
What a gift that I got to do that I couldn't afford a nanny, because in that circumstance, as a single mom 5 days a week, I probably would have gotten some help, just to have a little more balanced life.
Should I have kids?
Yes.
Okay.
You'd be a great dad.
I think so too.
Yes, you should.
Why I'm scared of it.
Why do you think you're scared of it?
I don't know. I was looking at my nephew. My nephew this weekend. He was always scared of me, and he finally just like.
How old is he?
He's 6.
Okay.
I took him to my concert. I took both of them to my concert way too early in life, and they got scared. It scared the shit out of them. Like, what? This is our fam. Like I was like, so it's like now he's proud. He watches all my videos now. I'm like, oh, now I get it. Yeah. What this idea of kids? Yeah, I might have a kid. Fuck it.
What makes you think you wouldn't? Do you think you wouldn't be a good dad?
I know. I think I'd be a great dad. I just don't want to. I just want to pick the right person to have a life with.
That's the key.
That's what I'm scared of. Like I want to have this really deep bond with someone.
Well, I'll tell you this too. Not that this is what anybody wants in their life, but my parents divorced, and my dad was a really good dad, really plugged in. Ryan Sickler, I don't know if you know who he is a comic, has a kid and is divorced or separated from his life partner, his baby mama, and is so fulfilled and happy.
Yeah.
And loves being a dad and is good being not with the mom. And they have figured out how to make that work.
Right.
And it's possible, not that that's what you want, but not to be scared, to the point where you don't make that choice if it's something that you want.
Yeah.
You can figure it out.
I could figure it out.
You figured out. I lived with my dad and 2 other guys. He had 2 roommates. And I had 3 dads. And it was fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
It was amazing. I ate Pizza Hut all the time. Hungry Man dinner, Pizza Hut, and football. Saturday Night Live.
Oh, see? All right.
It was amazing.
It's gotta, I just, I gotta not be scared of the other side of life.
You have no idea what it will do to you to open up to those possibilities, to open to receive, to be open to receive, to ask, to be guided, to ask for what you want. And the thing is, when you start asking the universe for what you want, you have to leave it up to the universe to give it to you. Because what I wanted was a life partner, and I wanted a life partner that I didn't have drama with. That's what I asked for. I didn't ask for tall, blonde, blue eye. I didn't ask for that.
That's all I want.
I didn't ask to be wealthy. I asked to not worry about money.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever worry about money. I want to be financially secure.
That's all I want
to take care of my dad financially. I want my kids to have a good life financially. I didn't ask for what that looked like or how we'd get it. So ask for what you want. If you want to be a dad, ask for it. If you want a relationship with a partner that lasts a lifetime, ask for it.
Yeah.
And really mean it and be open to receive it.
Yeah.
And she'll show up, but you also have to be ready to recognize her.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to recognize Bert. I kept going 2 months and then we'll be friends forever. There's no way I'm marrying a comic. And he just kept showing up. And at a certain point, before I got pregnant, at a certain point, I was like, hold on. I think this might be what I've been looking for. I was in therapy before I got pregnant because I realized he was maybe what I've been looking for, and I didn't know what to do with that.
Hold on. So like you weren't in therapy until you met him?
I had been in therapy when I was younger.
Yeah, but like,
and I had stopped. I was in therapy in my, like, from 23 to 27 years old.
wow.
And then I started practicing kind of what I'd learned and what I'd figured out. And I wanted to not be in therapy forever. And then when I met him, I went, okay, I don't know what I'm doing profoundly. And I'm not willing to fuck myself up by continuing a cycle I'm not even aware I'm continuing. So I need a mentor, really. I need a life mentor because I don't have one. So that sounds like a life coach. It's not. She is a PhD therapist. I'm still with her. I've been
set me up with one of these people.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I went in and went, here are my goals. And I don't know how to do any
That's
of
what I
these.
need.
Right?
Set me up with that. God, you're pumping me up. I'm ready.
You're not. If you knew how to do it, you already would have done it.
You're right.
That's the thing. If you knew how, you would have already.
True.
If you don't know how, then why the fuck wouldn't you go ask somebody who does?
I know. So I mean, I asked for advice from managers and everyone else about my business career. Why not do that with actually your life career? So I used to have a therapist, and like I was with like this guy. He's like New York therapist. Like he does Gary Goldman, Seinfeld. He was just so intense with the idea. I'm like, I'm not this fucked up.
Right.
I just need guidance that I could do this other part of my life too. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, so, and you just did that. So I'm about to Venmo you some therapy
Free
money.
session. First session free. That's a complimentary.
Thanks for having me, LeeAnn.
I'm so glad you came.
Oh,
and
I'm
text
honored.
me anytime.
Okay,
I'll do
I
the
will.
same. I
Okay,
would love that.
deal.
And
I'd
hopefully
love it.
we'll see you Friday.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
I'm going to convince your daughter
Yeah, you should.
today. All right.
Okay.
Bye.